There we go. Now we're live on YouTube. Chris, hello. How are you doing? Laura, Julia, thank you guys for hitting the share button. I appreciate your help with that. And thank you to everyone that's helping out with that as well. Laura says new here. Well, welcome in, my friend. All right. Of course, again, we're going to give it about 2 minutes before everyone gets in here. So I'm going to fill a little bit of that time to make sure you're not getting too bored here. So we did have that severe weather system back on last Tuesday. I believe the last time I checked it, surveys were still ongoing, which I'm not really sure why, but surveys were still ongoing. Last time I checked, there were 20 tornadoes from that, several straight line wind damage reports, and a few large hail reports. Which, by the way, if you are new to Kentucky or don't really know any better, the average tornadoes for a year in Kentucky is about 21. So we've already went past that marker this year. I do think a couple of tornadoes are possible tomorrow, so we'll dive in on where exactly that setup is expected to be. But just overall, it's been a robust April after a pretty calm March for the most part. Now we had a couple of smaller events in March, but compared to the last few Marches, this March has been a little bit more calm. It's April that's been a real sore for us, and I think that continues into May too. But we'll talk about that at a different time. Make sure I'm saying hello to everyone. Kristen, thank you for 20 stars. Caitlin, thank you for sharing the video. I appreciate you guys. We're almost to 7 shares, so we're almost to our goal of 20. Once we get to 20, we'll start. Angel says hello from Mattisville. Hello. Shannon says, what's up, big dog? Hello from Oak Grove, Kentucky. Money, hello. How are you down there? Tara from Lexington. Been here since almost day one. It feels like I'm always seeing Tara in here. Thank you for your support. Olivia says, hi, I love watching you. Olivia, I love having you in here. Thank you so much. Mike, what's up, my friend? Noodlehead, Central Kentucky, checking in. She says on YouTube, thank you so much. Audrey, hello. Olivia, hello. She says from Moorhead. Yeah, if you're in Moorhead, you want to make sure you pay attention to tonight's broadcast very closely. Hello from Cecilia. Hello from Elkton. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? A couple more shares, and then we'll get going up. There we go. See, you guys always handle business, and that's why we always handle business for you all. I appreciate everyone. Let's go ahead and start getting into the information here. Again, if you're just now tuning in here, I am Chief Forecaster George Herbig here with WNK. We do have another system to talk about for tomorrow. As you guys have seen over the last, 2 days or so, it's been a monsoon. It feels like we've already went over the 2-inch rain marker here in Radcliffe. Another 1 to 3 inches of rain expected throughout the next 36 to 48 hours in Kentucky as well. So, plentiful rains to go all around. Drought. There were some drought concerns heading into this week. I think those drought concerns are pretty much at bay for now. And with the period or with the pattern that we're heading into, I'm not seeing any real major drought concerns. However, for you farmers out there, and a lot of people have been asking me about this, for you farmers or planters out there, you definitely want to still hold off. We do still see a couple of cold shots toward the latter parts of April. Are they freezing or not? A little too early to tell, but we do know that temperatures will be below average in some places in the latter parts of April. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into the information here. Let's go ahead and get over here to our main screen. Perfect. So what we have up on your screen right now is the SPC's outlook. We have made our new forecast as well. Hasn't been a lot of changes from what we posted yesterday, but we did make some minute changes as more specific details are starting to come in. And with a setup like this, where we're dealing with a lot of rain, as we know in Kentucky, and even for the last event, right, rain really put a damper on some locations when it came to instability and storm juices being able to rise. So when you're dealing with a setup like this that has a ton of rainfall with it, sometimes trying to nail down that exact location of severe or strong weather is a little bit difficult until the day of the event. But overall, models have been rather consistent for probably the first time this year, it feels like. So we have pretty good confidence in where and what to expect here. So this is the SPC's outlook. Again, this is not ours. We have our forecast ready for you that we'll show you in a couple minutes. We're also going to show you actual model data as well. So a few different things I'm going to show you here so that we touch all bases, that way you know exactly what to expect. So this is the SPC's outlook. It has a level 2 out of 5 risk for a majority of central and eastern Kentucky, a level 3 out of 5 risk just on the border, and then up into Ohio and West Virginia. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me, do I think this can change? I do think it can change, and I'll show you why on the model data here in a second, but I do think this enhanced risk can be pulled back into Kentucky just a smidge, not a lot, but just a smidge to include a few more of those eastern Kentucky counties there. Overall, though, I don't think the level 2 out of 5 risk is going to move too much. I agree with the level 2 out of 5 risk, almost on par with our forecast from yesterday. But the level 3 out of 5 risk probably could move a little bit. So there is a tornado risk as well, a 5% chance for far eastern Kentucky, and a 10% chance just outside of that. I do think the 10% chance will move a little bit more into eastern Kentucky as we head into tonight's update. I believe their update comes out either later on tonight or the first couple of hours tomorrow morning. So we'll make sure we'll post their update for you guys as well. But yes, there is a tornado threat, even a 2 to 4% risk all the way back out to the I-65 corridor here in central Kentucky, where you see that big line going through. That's I-65. So even a 2 to 4% risk there. I don't think we'll see tornadic activity over here in central Kentucky. But the SPC is just kind of covering their bases with that forecast there. So that's the SPC's outlook. What we have coming up for you after this short break is our forecast and the model data. And I'm telling you right now, if you are in central and eastern Kentucky, you're going to want to stick around. If you're west of I-65, you can go ahead and tune out if you really want to. But if you're along of central and eastern Kentucky, you definitely want to make sure you stick around. This will only take 90 seconds. A real quick thank you to our partners. They're the people that are able to give us the ability to stay here with you guys 24/7. So just kind of hear them out, and maybe you'll like something that you see. Right Implement, where quality meets affordability. I can attest personally to their tremendous customer service. With growing and mowing season here, think of Right Implement when deciding on where to make your next purchase and save on tons of equipment like these deals here. Thank you so much, Right Implement. The Romp Music Festival is more than just a music event. It's a celebration of community, culture, and the enduring legacy of bluegrass. With a stunning location, an unparalleled lineup, and a passionate audience, Romp 2024 is shaping up to be an unmissable experience for music lovers from near and far. Tickets are on sale now at rompfest.com. Digital Solutions out of Radcliffe, Kentucky wants to give back to the W&K community. So they're offering 10% off any seller repair with code WNK. Shop and repair your technology locally with Kayla and her team at Digital Solutions.
Yeah, I'm Steve with Greyhawk Roofing. Some things that make us different about Greyhawk Roofing. Number one, we're family owned and operated. We don't treat it as a transactional relationship. We treat it more like a long-term relationship. We're going to work for you so that we hope that you refer us to your friends and family, and we end up doing work for those people as well. Quality is big for us. We have a quality control representative on every job site, and that's actually my dad. Not only do residential, but we also take care of commercial roofing as well. Commercial asphalt, rubber roofing, any type of membrane roof system we can handle as well. Check us out on Google, check us out on Facebook, check out our website. We've got a lot of our work on there. You can take a look at our portfolio. Do free estimates, free inspections, so we don't charge anything for that. We'd love to work with you. We'd love to add you to the Greyhawk family. So just give us a shout, 606-547-7519. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you so much to every one of them. Again, they're the people that give us the ability to be here for you guys. So we appreciate you guys hearing them out. And if you have any type of issues or needing any of their services coming up, you can always give us a message if you need more information on them. As always, thank you to all of them. And thank you to every one of you for listening and hearing them out. By the way, Robert and Amber, thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate that. So before we get into our forecast, I do want to make you a quick note of just how the radar looks overall here. So yeah, down there in southern United States, I'm gonna make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, down there in the southern United States, it's been an absolute 36 hours for them, basically from eastern Texas through Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. It's been an absolute just long 36 hours for them. Tons of rainfall, quite a few tornadoes, a couple of which I believe were strong, a lot of large hail. Luckily, that big batch looks to stay down there. However, the issue for us is that if you notice, we have this batch down here, right? Let me go pull my little marker up here for you guys and give you a little bit more, just kind of a way to look. So we have this big batch down here. Then we have these storms over here. And there's nothing right there. And so this is the main area of concern for tomorrow. And then, of course, up there toward Ohio, if you have any friends there, and in West Virginia, these are the kind of the tri-state area there is kind of the main bullseye. So let's go into the model data here. and then we'll show you our forecast, which of course hasn't changed too much since yesterday, but it changed a little bit. So we want to make sure we go on, over that with you guys as well. One touch base real quickly, just make sure here that you guys know the dew points are in the low to mid 60s. That's why it's felt so sticky outside today, even despite the rainfall. Helping to maintain these in the low 60s, it's still feeling quite sticky. Without the rainfall, it would be miserable in Kentucky right now. So rainfall is kind of helping to save us from that. Model data looks like this. So I'm going to zoom this in here for you, just so you can get a better time frame, and then we'll zoom it out and talk about the ingredients and our forecast. So again, I want to say real quickly, thank you to everyone that's hitting the share button and the likes button, both on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. So as I push this through, let's go ahead and skip this all the way up to 9 p.m. So this is 9 p.m. You see a few rain showers going on. 10 p.m. This is tonight, by the way. 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So you can see just constant, just off and on rain showers, especially along and west of I-65. If you noticed, along and east of I-65, a little bit more empty. Now, we're going to see that change over the next couple of frames here. And that'll be the actual reason that moisture and instability and storm juices are being lifted up into Kentucky, is that this system changes from going mainly east to now starting to go more north. And so when that happens, that low pressure is turning, it's becoming stronger, it's deepening, and it's lifting more to the north, lifting more of the instability and energy up with it from the southern United States, where all that mess is going on right now. So this is about for 9 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. You can see showers start to become a little bit more spotty, which is going to actually allow for a few cloud breaks to occur from Somerset to Elizabethtown, Lexington to Pikeville, and points out here to eastern Kentucky. As we head forward to 11 a.m. Eastern time, you can see a bit of strengthening on the reflectivity here. These are still non-severe, though, because there's just way too much rainfall going on to allow instability to get up west of I-65. But once again, what you notice is that east of I-65 is relatively untouched. And then as we head toward noon, this is where things start to really take a tick up for central and eastern Kentucky. We've had a couple of hours of sunshine here in this area, and now some instability and energy for storms to really fuel themselves has moved into the area. Now, as we push this forward here, you'll start to notice more isolated cells beginning to pop up. We do believe that a couple of these will be supercells, and the reason for that is because, again, when they start popping up in front of the main line, which is actually back out here. Well, actually, the main line's all the way back out here, but the area of main convection is right here in central Kentucky. And once we start seeing cells begin to pop up, like towards Somerset, where you see two pop up in front of it, Lexington, a couple of popcorn cells there, a couple of popcorn cells out toward northeastern Kentucky. When you start to see those on model data, that's when you start to raise your eyebrows a little bit, because they are allowed to take up that whole pool of energy without having to share it with anyone. So it's a little bit more concerning when we see that. As I push this on forward here for you, you'll see they become a little bit more of a band, and they push out toward eastern Kentucky around 4 p.m. Eastern time, and then it's out, and then it's just a bunch of rain showers. And on the backside, we have to be careful of this. So even if you don't see severe weather tomorrow, on the backside where the actual main line comes through, it's all the way back out here. You can actually start to see it in western Kentucky around 11 a.m. Eastern time. A massive just wall of 35 to perhaps up to 50 mile per hour winds pushes all the way through the state, and that's kind of the final close on the whole system throughout Thursday and even in the early parts of Friday. Some wind gusts going on there. So even if you don't see strong to severe weather tomorrow, it does look like it's quite windy at the least. So here's our forecast. I'm going to start with this one here just so you kind of have the nameplates and stuff to work with. So we did make a couple of small changes to this. It's not a massive change from yesterday's forecast. We pretty much left the 1 out of 5 area the same. We dropped the less than 1 out of 5 area. It just kind of seemed useless. We just don't really expect. There's just way too much rainfall going on out in western Kentucky. And as we learned from the last system and from pretty much all of the systems in Kentucky, when there's a lot of rainfall in the morning, it tends to lead to very, very limited odds for severe weather. And while I do believe that it's not a 0% chance for severe weather out in western Kentucky, I do think the odds are just extremely low. For along I-65 and just the points east, a level 1 out of 5 risk there, and I'll show you what that means here on the next map. A level 2 out of 5 risk exists for the orange area, so basically from Danville to Lexington to Florence over toward Pikeville and Ashland. And then a level 3 out of 5 risk for Moorhead and the places out in northeastern Kentucky like Mount Olivet, and places, unfortunately, that got hit pretty hard from the last event. It's kind of the same areas for this one. Thankfully, the saving grace on this event is it's not as widespread. Remember the last event in Kentucky, we had tornadoes all the way out in Paducah, tornadoes all the way out in toward the Ashland area. So each corner of the state was covered with severe weather. This one's pretty much confined to one. However, this one deserves its own respect because I think this one, in my opinion, has better moisture profiles with it to carry a severe or tornadic risk. What I mean by that, I want to show you real quickly, and then I'll have another map to show you. But what I want to show you real quickly, and we're going to come out of this, and it's going to be a little bit of a 30-second lesson here, if you're curious. Now, again, I do have one more map or graphic to show you here, so don't go anywhere. But what I want to show you, let's go ahead and put this out to the newer one, and we're going to put this on over here, back it up just a little bit. So what we notice here is this is our moisture levels about 700 millibars, so several thousand feet above our head, okay? And now this is super important because this is the one, I'm telling you guys, the one ingredient that last week was missing. If we had this ingredient last week, it's already classified as an outbreak on last week's event. But if we had this one ingredient, absolutely no doubt in my mind, last week would have been historic. And it's not me trying to scare anyone. It's already happened. So if you're getting scared by something that's already happened, I don't know what to tell you. But the fact is the fact that if we had this one ingredient last week, it could have been historic. Now, this one ingredient is super important because it allows overmixing to not occur. Basically, it dries out different layers of the atmosphere and sends moisture to other layers of the atmosphere, allowing for more supercells to be more rooted to the ground rather than up into the atmosphere. So this is what we call the relative humidity level. And what we see here is a spike of dry levels up above our heads and then really rich moisture to its east. That usually indicates a robust environment just east of the dry line. So this would be the dry lines running through basically I-65 at this point. And so just east of that would be the main target area. So from basically like Somerset to Pikeville, and a little bit including Lexington, and then out toward eastern Kentucky. You can see that this humidity layer here matches up with our forecast pretty well. As you can see here, from just east of Lexington to Moorhead, the eastern Kentucky area. We pull this up again, that rich blue is right next to it as well. So this is the one ingredient we were missing last week. Now, this isn't to say this is going to be some super outbreak, but I will tell you that the profiles, at least for this week, when it comes to moisture, dry lines, a couple of other things that we look at, veering winds, it fits a supercell profile a little bit better than last week, where last week fit more of a linear system. A linear system basically is just a line of storms that can produce damaging winds and strong tornadoes embedded within those lines, which is exactly what we saw last week. So this one is a little bit of a different type of setup because we're dealing with a little bit more of a dry slot, which is going to actually allow for more moisture to be able to concentrate itself and allow for supercells to root a little bit closer to the ground, giving you a little bit of a better tornado odds than, in my opinion, last week for far eastern Kentucky. So as I pull this up here, I want to show you, this is our threat type map here. A tornado risk is 2 out of 5. Wind risk is 4 out of 5. Hail risk is 3 out of 5. I do think there's a chance for some areas within that red and even orange to see some large hail. The tornado risk, in my opinion, while the SPC has all of this area in a tornado risk, I think the best odds for a tornado are in that red area. So basically the Moorhead area up toward Ashland, and then going out toward Mount Olivet, up there toward, that northeastern Kentucky portion of the area, in my opinion, is the best odds to see, if we do see tornadic activity, would be in that area. Outside of that, the odds really drop off because, again, we just are dealing with so many rain showers that it's really hard, in my opinion, to believe that enough instability is going to be able to pull and lift up to allow for supercells to stay on the ground. Now, I do think there will be supercells that are elevated, which leads to a hail and damaging wind risk. But when it comes to energy at the ground, I think when talking about the yellow area, even a little bit into that orange area, I think you're talking about maybe not meeting enough of those standards. On the bottom window there, you see it says, it reads, a brief window for severe weather will open in East Kentucky. Main hazard, wind gust, low hazard, a couple tornadoes. I do think a couple are out playing. I don't think we're looking at some type of outbreak that we saw last week. But again, this one deserves its own respect because there is a potential for a strong tornado or two in somewhere in Kentucky or West Virginia or Ohio, somewhere in that Tri-City vicinity up there toward, again, the northeastern portion towards southeastern Ohio and northwestern West Virginia. Try saying all that fast 3 times. That'll get you. So overall, again, not a super mega storm outbreak that some of these YouTubers are talking about. Don't get me started on that. But it does deserve its own respect, and that's why we've been talking about it. And of course, if there is any issues tomorrow and any hazardous conditions that do present itself, we'll be live for the duration of that hazard. So make sure you follow us and turn on notifications, or if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You guys know the drill over there. I'm gonna go ahead and get some of your comments now. What risk is Jackson County? Again, I think it's a 2 out of 5. I have to zoom in on the map a little bit more. But yeah. Also, I'm gonna take. Don't worry, I'm gonna take tonight, and I'm gonna study the Eastern Kentucky map because there's so many just towns out here. Let's go ahead and clear this. Oh, I did it again. Let's go ahead and clear this. There's just so many. Are you kidding me? Are you gonna work? Clear paintbrush. Finish. Thank you. And it didn't clear it. Oh my goodness. There's so many little towns out here. I gotta kind of familiarize myself with it. So many little towns that all sound the same. Like, look, there's a Grayson City. There's also a Grayson County over here. So I kind of get a little confused when it comes to Eastern Kentucky. But don't worry, I'm gonna brush up on it. Don't you guys worry. But overall, that's about it. I don't want to do some long, drawn-out video here. You know, we have plenty of our forecast information on our pages. So if you guys did miss any of this video, you know, you can go back and watch this video after it gets done processing. It'll be on our Facebook and our YouTube. Also, we're going to make a written post here soon as well. So if you guys did miss any of this video, there's going to be all kinds of information out there for you. So don't worry. Again, I don't think it's some super mega historic outbreak, but I do think it's a system that deserves its own respect because, again, some of the profiles that we're seeing on data, I don't know, won't bore you with the science, but some of the profiles that we're seeing on data is a little bit more indicative of rooted supercells. South of Richmond, I want to say it looked like 2 out of 5. Thank you, Duncan. I appreciate that. Yeah, Richmond, I believe, is 3 out of 5 because that's one of the spots I'm kind of watching a little closely. Just to be honest with you guys. Of course, that can change. I want to make it very clear that a lot of this can change, especially when we're talking about a complex system like this that needs an area. If we don't get a window of at least partially cloudy skies tomorrow in Eastern Kentucky, I don't think there's a significant threat at all. In fact, we would probably wipe everything down to a 1 out of 5 risk. The models are just indicating at this current time and throughout most of today and yesterday that there will be a clearing window. But I'm telling you, if we don't and it's just constant rain showers, I really have a hard time seeing how the system really gets going tomorrow. So I want to point that out there as well, that there is a bust potential. That if we just get hours and hours and hours of rainfall throughout the late morning out in Eastern and Central Kentucky, I just have a hard time believing how instability will be able to rise enough to be able to indicate a severe weather threat. So, again, we'll keep an eye on it for you guys. We'll post several updates throughout tonight, going into tomorrow as well. And of course, for the duration of the event, if things do start to look hazardous, we'll be live broadcasting that entire event just like we did last time. However, we're signing off here. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with WNK. Until next time, stay safe, Kentucky.